I discovered I was paying $8,400 every single month for 5 years. But the breaking point wasn't the money. It was when my own daughter uninvited me from her birthday party because I, quote, didn't fit the image. That's when I knew. They didn't love me. They loved my bank account. My name is Margaret Chen, but everyone calls me Maggie. I'm 68 years old, and I spent 40 years as a nurse before I retired. My husband Robert passed away 5 years ago. Lung cancer. He fought hard, but in the end, it took him anyway. He left me comfortable. Not wealthy, but comfortable. A paid-off house in San Diego, his pension, some savings, and his life insurance. I thought I was doing what Robert would have wanted, taking care of our family. Our daughter Lisa was going through a tough time when he died. Her husband Marco had just had another business failure, his third one, actually. But who was counting? They had 2 kids in private school, a big mortgage, and suddenly no income from Marco's side. So when Lisa called me crying that first month after the funeral, saying they might lose the house, what was I supposed to do? I'm a mother. You help your children. I paid their mortgage that month. Just that once, I told myself. To get them through. Except it never was just once, was it? First, it was the mortgage. Then Marco needed a car for his new business venture. A Tesla, he said, because image matters in sales. Then the kids' school tuition came due. Then their country club membership, because Marco needed to network. Each time, Lisa would call with that stressed voice, and I would think about Robert, about how he would want his grandchildren taken care of, and I would say, yes. 5 years. That's how long it went on. And I didn't even realize the full extent until my friend Patricia came over to help me organize my finances for tax season. Patricia is 70, sharp as a tack, and she doesn't sugarcoat anything. We were sitting at my kitchen table, going through bank statements, when she suddenly went quiet. That kind of quiet that makes your stomach drop. Maggie, she said, looking at me over her reading glasses. Do you know how much money leaves your account every month? I shrugged. I help Lisa out with a few things. A few things? She turned the statement toward me. Honey, you're spending $8,400 a month on them. The number didn't compute at first. I shook my head. That can't be right. But Patricia had already started making a list. Her handwriting was neat, organized, clinical, almost, like she was documenting evidence. Mortgage payment for their 4-bedroom house, $3,200. Marco's Tesla lease, $1,100. Private school tuition for both kids, $2,400. Country club membership, $800. Their family gym memberships, $300. Streaming services I didn't even use, $200. Cell phone plan for their whole family, $180. Their home insurance, $220. It went on. And on. Little charges I'd agreed to here and there, automatic payments I'd set up and forgotten about. Maggie, Patricia said gently, Lisa makes $85,000 a year in marketing. Marco's business, from what you've told me, brings in maybe $30,000. That's $115,000 combined. They could live very comfortably on that. Most families would kill for that income. But the private school, they chose private school. They chose the big house. They chose the Tesla and the country club. Patricia reached across the table and took my hand. Honey, they're living a $250,000 lifestyle on a $115,000 salary. The difference is you. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Robert wanted me to take care of them. Robert wanted you to help them through hard times, not become their permanent ATM. Patricia squeezed my hand. When was the last time they invited you to their house? I opened my mouth to answer and realized I couldn't. Not for dinner, not for holidays, not ever really. It was always me hosting, or we'd meet at restaurants. Lisa always said the house was too messy, or they were too busy, or they were renovating. When was the last time they asked how you were doing? Patricia continued. Not your health, not your finances. You. How you're feeling. What you need. I thought about it. Really thought about it. And came up empty. That's what I thought, Patricia said softly. But I still might have continued. Might have kept paying, kept helping, kept telling myself this was what mothers do. Except then came Lisa's birthday party. Lisa was turning 42. She'd mentioned wanting to do something special this year, and I'd been excited. I'd bought her a beautiful cashmere sweater I knew she'd been eyeing, expensive perfume, and made reservations to take her to her favorite spa. I'd been planning it for weeks. 2 days before the party, my phone buzzed with a text from Lisa. I was in my garden, deadheading roses, and I smiled when I saw her name. Probably last-minute party details. Mom, I'm so sorry, but we had to adjust the guest list for my birthday dinner. Marco's business partners really need those seats for networking. You understand, right? We'll do a family dinner next week. Love you. I read it 3 times, standing there with dirt under my fingernails and a rose thorn stuck in my thumb, bleeding a little. She was uninviting me. To her birthday, that I'd been planning for weeks. I texted back, "How many seats at the table?" 8. Why? How many are filled? A long pause. Then, 6 with the business partners. Mom, please don't make this difficult. 6. She had 8 seats. She was leaving 2 empty rather than include me. I called Patricia. I need you to drive me somewhere tomorrow night, I said. Where? You'll see. The next evening, Patricia picked me up at 6:30. I was wearing my nicest dress, the one Robert always said made my eyes look bright. I'd done my hair, put on makeup, brought the wrapped presents. Are you sure about this? Patricia asked as we drove. No, but I'm doing it anyway. The restaurant was one of those trendy places downtown, all exposed brick and Edison bulbs. Through the window, I could see them. Lisa at the head of the table, laughing. Marco beside her, gesturing animatedly. I recognized Marco's parents at the other end. They'd been invited. His parents, who I barely knew, who lived 3 hours away, but not me. The table had 8 seats. 6 were filled. 2 were empty, just like Lisa had said. She hadn't lied about that, at least. She'd simply chosen to leave them empty rather than include her own mother. I walked in. The hostess started to say something, but I was already moving toward their table. Lisa saw me first. Her face went white, then red. Mom, what are you doing here? I came to give you your birthday present. I set the gift bag on the table, next to her wine glass. Marco stood up, trying to smile but looking uncomfortable. Mrs. Chen, this is actually a business dinner. I know, Lisa told me. She told me I didn't fit the image. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. Her designer dress, her fresh highlights, her manicured nails, all paid for, I suddenly realized, by me. Mom, please, Lisa hissed. You're embarrassing us. Can we talk about this later? Embarrassing you. I heard myself laugh, but it didn't sound like me. That's funny, Lisa. I'm embarrassing you. You don't understand the pressures we're under, she said, glancing at the other people at the table, who were all very deliberately not looking at us. Maybe if you lived a little less lavishly, you'd understand what it's like for our generation. Less lavishly. I repeated the words slowly. I drive a Heingen-Lermur Honda Civic with 160,000 miles on it. You drive a Tesla. I shop at Target. You shop at Nordstrom. I haven't been on vacation since Robert died. You went to Hawaii last summer. That was a family trip. That I paid for. Silence. Marco's parents suddenly found their water glasses fascinating. Lisa's voice dropped to a furious whisper. Mom, you're making a scene. This is my birthday. Can you please just not make this about you for once? And that's when I knew. Standing there, in that restaurant, Looking at my daughter's angry, embarrassed face, I finally understood what Patricia had been trying to tell me. They didn't love me. They loved what I provided. You're right, I said quietly. I apologize for interrupting your dinner. Happy birthday, Lisa. I walked out. Patricia was waiting in the car, engine running. How'd it go? She asked. Drive me to the bank. First thing tomorrow morning. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. The next morning, I was at the bank when it opened. My banker, Tom, was a nice young man who'd been helping me for years. He looked confused when I explained what I wanted to do. Mrs. Chen, you want to cancel 94 automatic payments? Yes. That's a lot. Are you sure? Some of these have been active for years. I'm aware. He clicked through his computer, frowning. Mrs. Chen, I have to say, this is unusual. Most people your age are worried about having enough for retirement. According to your accounts, you're more than comfortable. You have your pension, your savings, your husband's life insurance still invested. You could live very well on just your pension alone. Then that's what I'm going to do. But these payments are not my responsibility. Cancel everything except these 3. I pointed to the payments for my son David's children's college funds. David lived in Oregon, taught high school English, and had never asked me for a dime. I'd set those up myself, without him asking. Tom looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded. It'll take about an hour to process everything. The account holders will receive email notifications as each payment is canceled. Perfect. I sat in the bank lobby while he worked. I thought about calling Lisa, warning her, but I remembered her face in that restaurant. The irritation, the embarrassment, the entitlement. No. They'd told me to live less lavishly. I was simply taking their advice. When it was done, Tom printed out a summary for my records. 94 payments canceled. $8,400 per month staying in my account. $100,800 per year. I'd given them over $500,000 in 5 years. I turned my phone off on the way home. I didn't turn it back on for 2 days. When I finally did, there were 87 missed calls, 63 from Lisa, 19 from Marco, 5 from numbers I didn't recognize. The texts were a timeline of panic and rage. From Lisa. Hour 1. Mom, there's an error with the mortgage payment. Can you call the bank? Hour 4. Mom, call me back. This is urgent. Hour 12. What did you do? The school called about tuition. Marcus and Sophia might get kicked out. Hour 24. You're being incredibly selfish. We have children. Do you understand that? Children who need stability. Hour 36. Fine. Don't expect to see your grandchildren again. You've made your choice. Hour 48. From Marco's number. This is unacceptable. We need to talk. This is affecting my family. His family. Not our family. His. I didn't respond to any of them. Patricia came over, and we had tea in my garden. The roses were blooming beautifully. On the 3rd day, they showed up. I saw Marco's Tesla pull into my driveway and felt my stomach clench. Patricia was with me. Thankfully, she'd been staying over, worried about how I was handling everything. Want me to answer the door? She asked. No, I'll do it. Lisa looked terrible. No makeup, hair in a messy ponytail, yoga pants and a sweatshirt. Marco looked angry, his jaw tight, his eyes hard. Can we come in? Lisa asked. No. Mom, you can say whatever you need to say from there. Marco stepped forward. You can't just cut us off without warning. Do you have any idea what you've done? The mortgage payment bounced. The school called. The Tesla lease company is threatening repossession. You're destroying our lives. I'm not destroying anything. I'm simply no longer funding your lifestyle. Our lifestyle? Lisa's voice went shrill. We have kids. We have responsibilities. We can't just move into some tiny apartment in a bad neighborhood. You make $115,000 a year combined. That's more than most American families. You can absolutely afford a good life, just not the life you've been living. We can't afford our lifestyle on our salary, Marco said, as if I was stupid for not understanding this basic fact. That's why we needed your help. Then change your lifestyle. You don't understand, Lisa started. No, you don't understand. I felt something break open inside me. 5 years of being taken for granted and dismissed and used. Your father worked until he was 70 years old. He saved every penny. He was careful and responsible because he wanted to make sure I would be okay after he was gone. He would be horrified to see how you've been spending his money. His money? Lisa's eyes flashed. You're our mother. Family takes care of family. That's what Dad would have wanted, for you to take care of us. I did take care of you. I raised you. I paid for your college. I gave you a beautiful wedding. I helped when you had your first baby and needed a bigger place. I was there when Marco's business failed the first time, and the second time, and the third time. I met her eyes, but at some point, Lisa, you have to take care of yourself. We can't, she said, and she was crying now. Don't you get it? We can't afford our life without you. Then that's not your life. That's mine. You've been living my life, on my money, while excluding me from yours. That's not fair. You uninvited me from your birthday because I didn't fit the image. Your image, built with my money. Marco grabbed Lisa's arm. This is pointless. She's made up her mind. Let's go. Mom, please, Lisa whispered. The kids will be fine. They'll go to public school. They'll adjust. Maybe they'll even learn something about hard work and gratitude. I started to close the door. You should go now. You're going to regret this, Marco shouted as I shut the door. But I didn't. I didn't regret it at all. Patricia hugged me as I stood there, shaking. You did the right thing. Then why do I feel so terrible? Because you're a good person. Good people feel bad even when they do the right thing. But honey, you weren't helping them. You were enabling them. There's a difference. I called David that evening. He answered on the second ring. Breathless. Mom, thank God. Lisa called me crying. She said you cut them off financially? I did. Can I ask why? I told him everything. The $8,400 a month, the birthday party, the restaurant, the texts. He was quiet for a long time. Jesus Christ, he finally said. Mom, I had no idea. I knew you helped them out sometimes, but I didn't know it was like that. You never asked me for money, because I have a job, and a budget, and I'm an adult. He paused. Mom, listen. I don't want you paying for the kids' college funds either. We'll take out loans. We'll figure it out. David, that's different. You never asked. I set those up because I wanted to. I know. But still, I'm serious. Use that money for yourself. Travel. Enjoy your life. You earned it. My eyes stung. You're a good son. I had a good mom. He hesitated. For what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. Lisa's been living beyond her means for years. Marco's a nice guy, but he's a dreamer. He's always got the next big idea, the next business venture. They needed a reality check. I hope they'll be okay. They will be. They're adults. They'll figure it out. You didn't abandon them. You just stopped carrying them. After we hung up, I sat in Robert's old chair and looked at his picture on the mantel. I hope I did the right thing, I whispered. The house was quiet, just me and the sound of the wind chimes on the porch. 3 months passed. I learned what Patricia had been trying to tell me. That being alone isn't the same as being lonely. That peace is worth more than people who only call when they need something. That I could actually live quite well on my pension when I wasn't supporting 4 other people. I started taking a watercolor class on Tuesday evenings. I joined a book club. I volunteered at the hospital where I used to work. I planted a vegetable garden. I adopted a cat from the shelter, a grumpy orange tabby I named Marmalade. David would call every Sunday. He told me Lisa and Marco had sold their house. They'd moved into a 3-bedroom apartment in a nice neighborhood. Marco had finally gotten a regular job in sales at a company with an actual salary and benefits. The kids had transferred to public school. "How are they doing?" I asked. "Adjusting," David said. "Brandon keeps asking about you, actually." Brandon, my grandson. 16 years old, into skateboarding and video games. I hadn't seen him since before the birthday party. "Tell him I say hello." "Why don't you tell him yourself?" "He keeps asking if he can call you, but Lisa won't give him your number." Something in my chest ached. "She won't?" She's still angry. But Brandon's not. He's old enough to have his own phone, his own thoughts. David paused. "I could give him your number, if that's okay with you. Please." 3 days later, my phone rang from an unknown number. "Hello? Grandma?" "It's Brandon." I sat down, my legs suddenly weak. "Hi, sweetheart." "I'm sorry." His voice cracked. "I'm sorry for how they treated you. For how I treated you. I didn't understand until we moved and had to change everything. I get it now. What you were doing for us. How much it cost. And how they just took it for granted." "Oh, honey. I got a job. Part-time at the skate shop downtown. It's not much, but it's mine. I'm saving up for a car." He took a breath. "I was wondering if maybe we could get coffee sometime. Just us? I'd like to see you, if that's okay." I was crying and didn't care. I would love that more than anything. "This weekend, there's a coffee shop near my school. I finish my shift at 3. I'll be there." That Saturday, I drove to the coffee shop 20 minutes early because I was nervous. I ordered a tea and sat by the window, watching the street. Brandon walked up at exactly 3 o'clock. He'd grown taller since I'd seen him last, almost a man now. He was carrying a small bouquet of flowers, slightly wilted but clearly chosen with care. "I bought these myself," he said as he sat down. "With my paycheck. It's not much, but they're perfect." I took them, blinking back tears. We talked for 2 hours. About school, about his job, about his friends, about how weird it was to take the bus instead of being driven in the Tesla, about how public school was actually okay, better in some ways, about how his mom and dad fought a lot now, about money mostly, but how they seemed more real somehow, less fake. "I don't think they were happy before," he said thoughtfully, stirring his hot chocolate. "They were stressed all the time, trying to keep up appearances. Now they're just regular, stressed, about normal things. It's different." "How's your sister?" "Sophia's doing okay. She misses the country club, but she joined the swim team at school and made some friends." He looked down at his cup. "She's not ready to talk to you yet. She's still mad. But I think she will be eventually. She's just younger." "That's okay. I understand." "I don't think what you did was mean," Brandon said suddenly. "I think it was brave. Mom keeps saying you abandoned us, but you didn't. You just stopped paying for everything. That's different." He looked up at me. "Uncle David says there's a difference between helping people and enabling them." I looked up what enabling means. "I think I get it now. You're a smart kid." "I'm not a kid anymore," he smiled, and I saw Robert in his face. The same crooked smile, the same thoughtful eyes. "I'm learning that the hard way. But it's good. I think I'm better this way. Working for stuff. Appreciating stuff." When we finally left, Brandon hugged me tight. "Can we do this again? Every Saturday?" "I'd like that very much." "Cool. Oh, and Grandma?" He pulled back, looking serious. "Thank you." "For what?" "For teaching me that love isn't about money. It's about showing up." He shrugged. "You always showed up. They didn't. I get that now." I watched him skateboard down the sidewalk toward the bus stop, his backpack bouncing, and felt something settle in my chest, something that had been tight and painful for months. Patricia was right. I hadn't abandoned my family. I'd set them free to become who they really were, instead of who my money let them pretend to be. And in the process, I'd found the family that actually mattered. The ones who loved me. Not my bank account. The ones who showed up. I drove home to my small house with my garden and my grumpy cat and my Tuesday painting class, and I felt something I hadn't felt in 5 years. Happy. Was I wrong to cut them off? Sometimes I still wonder. Lisa still won't talk to me. Sophia, according to Brandon, is coming around but isn't ready yet. Christmas will be different this year. Smaller. Quieter. But then I look at my bank account and see the money that's mine. I think about my Tuesday painting class, and my book club, and my volunteer work. I remember Brandon's face when he handed me those flowers. Bought with money he earned himself. The pride in his voice when he talked about his job. And I think about what Patricia said that day in my kitchen, when this all started. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let people face the consequences of their choices. Stop carrying them so they can learn to walk on their own. I didn't abandon my daughter. I just stopped funding her illusion. And maybe, someday, she'll understand that. Maybe she'll even thank me, but even if she doesn't, I'll be okay. Because I finally understand something Robert tried to tell me before he died. He said, "Maggie, don't let them take advantage of you. You're allowed to live your own life." I didn't understand what he meant then, but I do now. I'm not just allowed to live my own life. I'm choosing to, and that makes all the difference.